And welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Oklahoma City. We'll switch those flags in a second. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Jacob Van Lunen.
Hey, how are you guys?
And we've got Shuhei Nakamura on the left versus Thomason Timothy. That might be switched. Is his first name Thomason?
What?
Is his first name Thomason? Anyway, we're off to the races here. We'll figure that out. Not a big deal. It's so it's Timothy Thomason. We'll get that switched. Anyway, Battle-Wise Hoplite for Shuhei Nakamura, but he's under some pressure already, though not the most pressure as the Cavalry Pegasus is teamed up with a 1-3 for 2. Although it has Heroic, the Cetessan Battle Priest is not the most aggressive 2-drop in the set.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst card. It's pretty good when you have a lot of Bestow and you're a more controlling Bestow deck. But in this situation, you know, Shuhei can just happily trade 2 points for 2 points whenever he wants to, and it's not really going to be that big of an issue for him.
All right, here's an Observant Alseid that's going to, well, you just mentioned it, Jake. It's going to become bestowed, going to gain a couple of life here, going to get in for a bunch of damage, and Shuhei just has nothing on turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is you know, this is one of the major issues with the blue-white deck is that it's so 5-drop heavy. And here, you know, Shuhei failing to find a second blue mana. So even though he has the 5 lands, like in this just glut of 5-drops in his hand, he's just unable to cast any of them because
of all the white mana.
Just all the white mana that he's drawn.
All right, there's a Daxus off the top. That can help dig him back into this game. We're going to get these life totals updated as soon as we can as well.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's 20-20.
Neither do I. So Horizon Scholar comes down, and that's going to be pretty good here, but
Lash of the Whip on end step.
It gets whipped out of the sky.
Takes it down, and the beats continue here.
And Shuhei, life total dwindling quickly.
It really is, though Timothy didn't play anything that turn, and a Prescient Chimera, all right, and he just straight up didn't play anything that turn, so Prescient Chimera can actually block here potentially. The Cetessan Battle Priest only has 3 power, so this is, at least as the board sits, a profitable block, though Shuhei's got to be wary about what could happen here.
Yeah, I don't think he can really take many hits at this point.
All right, Divine Verdict's going to finish off, but he's only going to take 1 damage here, so that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, he still has a few more turns, and with another Chimera in his hand, it's not really the end of the world.
Yeah, he's got double Daxus in his hand, and the blue mana really is crimped. He also has a Dissolve in his hand, and unfortunately is just going to have a hard time finding a spot to cast it here, as he really needs to keep committing things to the board so that he can
survive.
Block.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 6. He took a lot of hits. Failing to find that second blue mana in the first few turns of the game really punished him a lot. He's waiting on those Daxos and playing his more expensive creatures now, hoping that, you know, in the case that he does draw a 3rd island, he can play the Daxos and leave open Dissolve, which could put him in a pretty good spot. It looks like his opponent's getting a little flooded, and there we see it. It actually worked out pretty well for him. Gets to play that Daxos and pass the turn.
He drew an island, gets to play Daxos, pass the turn back, and have Dissolve up now. So Shuhei all of a sudden has potentially turned things around and put himself in a much better position. A 2-1 for Timothy, but that's not really going to do much here. Shuhei says, sure, you can have that. He draws yet another island here, and Timothy's going to take a quick survey. Daxos has a lot of text, and in he comes. He's going to take it. He doesn't have an option here. He's got to take it or chump, and unfortunately it's a land which he cannot play.
Yeah, not the card he wanted to flip at all here.
No, he really wanted to hit just anything with the converted mana cost to start buffering his life total. That said, he's still in a totally fine position, because he's going to be able to keep up Dissolve. So
yeah, so I mean, he really wanted his opponent to draw that land, but it's fine for his opponent to, you know, get a spell here because he does have the Dissolve in hand, and
I think he might have.
Yeah, he found a spell. I believe it is. Okay. You know what? I'm not actually sure. I didn't get it.
I couldn't get a look either. Shuhei has a very awkward card in his hand right now as well. He's got Vanquish the Foul. Can't target anything right now.
Yeah, nothing too foul.
Yeah, everything's just not foul enough.
And a Pharaoh's Warden comes down, and I can expect that we'll see a Dissolve on that card.
Yeah, because that's one of the few ways to really deal with Daxos. And so Prescient Chimera lets a dissolve, a scry happen, and then the natural scry from dissolve also happens. He ships both cards to the bottom, so a lot of good production here for Shuhei Nakamura. But in they go.
It's a really aggressive attack from
Super
Timothy.
Aggressive.
And I mean,
but doesn't that the 2/1 in black, doesn't it get flying? I think it might be a human.
It is a human, yes.
So this is actually pretty sweet for him.
Yeah, so Shuhei going to fall down to 2 here. Pretty dangerous spot to be in.
Yeah, that's a tormented hero. It's a human warrior. All right, so let's see if Shuhei can hit something with Daxos.
That's what he needs to do. He needs to hit something pretty good.
He does.
It's a God's willing.
Unfortunately, it costs 1 mana. He's going to gain a life there, though. Is this good enough?
I believe it is.
Play God's willing. Is he going to play his other Daxos just so it's untapped? Does he have to do that here?
I don't think so. I mean, it has flying. The Battle Priest is flying anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Ah, you're right. So a couple of scries, another one. Shipping all this stuff to the bottom.
3 different scries, and then he's going to leave that card on top. So pretty strong here. Another Battle Ice Hoplite going to come down for Shuhei here.
Shuhei barely hanging on, but he's still in this. His opponent is also whittled down to 12, something to keep our eye on. Though Shuhei, the 8th ranked player in the world, is at 2. If he would have hit a land there, he's dead, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so this is how close this gets.
Yeah, let's see what his opponent can find here. Top of his deck. And it looks like it is Observant Alciad, and that's going to be it.
That ought to do it. Unfortunately for Shuhei, the Vanquish the Foul, even though it costs 6, even though it only hits creatures with power 4 or greater, it's also a sorcery.
Yep.
It's a rough card, not a,
I mean, even
not
there,
a premium piece of removal.
It would not have hit either of those creatures anyway.
Yeah, you're right. They're both 3 power.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that card's going to stay in his deck in post-sideboarded games.
Agree. All right, William Lowry on the left. I think he's our last undefeated player.
Oh, he's still undefeated?
I believe so, yeah. I'll look it up here. Yeah, he's sitting on 36 points. He is our
pretty
last.
Impressive here. We saw him have an incredible black-white deck in the last draft, and it looks like he's on that same plan now. Black-white, many people consider it to be the best and or second best archetype. Are these guys really in Game 3?
I don't think so.
That'd be
it
pretty
is possible, but 8 minutes in, and when they're in the feature match area, that means more like 5 minutes or less. It would be hard to believe that they're actually there.
Yeah, I imagine
assuming
this
is
the first
game 1.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just Abhorrent Overlord. We saw a lot of this yesterday. One of the best rares in black. This card is a powerhouse. I think this is, just on raw power level, this might be the best card in the set or one of them. I mean, this is the type of card that you can be way behind and it can get you right back in a game.
Definitely.
I love cards like that. I'll pip my 7 mana here any day of the week. That card is amazing.
Oh, Chris Brummet with he has the Asher Rider again.
No way.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Doesn't look like he has the 7th land that he needs to cast it though. So
it's 8, right? Isn't it 4 white, white, black, black?
I thought it was 3 white, white, black, black. It may be 8.
Well,
hey, you know what? You're right. It's 8.
It's 8. It's a sweet card. It is tough to cast.
Yep. And
looks like that's going to be the game.
Going to concede there. The Abhorrent Overlord, just too much damage too quickly. That's 10 points of flying power, all in one card. He didn't have anything that could block, just a 6 life there.
Yep.
Finds himself dead to rights. Shuhei Nakamura.
Back to Shuhei.
The 8th best player in the entire world.
Well, at least he's the 8th ranked player.
Well, yeah, in this thing.
Playing playing against Timothy Thomason here. Timothy,
Timothy's
though, was
deck also
able
very
to,
good.
even though his opening wasn't particularly aggressive, he was able to apply enough pressure repeatedly after Shuhei missed blue land drops to defeat Shuhei. I thought Shuhei was going to be able to stabilize, and he was very close. I mean, if he hit like a 3 or a 4 drop at any point with his Daxos after those 2 hits, that would have done it.
Yeah.
But he hit a land and a 1 drop, and it wasn't quite enough.
I mean, had he hit different cards with his Daxos, it would have been a much different game, but Shuhei mulliganing now on the play.
His deck seems fine on a mulligan.
Oh yeah, his deck can recover very nicely from a mulligan.
Yeah. Some decks it really, really hurts. Some decks have the ability to recover a little easier. I think Shuhei's is on the latter end of that scale.
Yeah, I think that, especially against Timothy's deck, I think Shuhei's deck is actually like really, really well equipped to...
All right, Shuhei kept. And he draws a Daxus. I don't know if he has an island yet.
No, he does not.
He
continues to draw blue spells.
Yeah, he draws a Vaporkin. But again, that Pegasus on its own, not that effective. It really needs friends. And this is the same opening that Timothy had last time, but it's still... It's just not that much pressure at this point. And here, have a horse.
Yeah. Take a horse, my friend.
And we get a David Ochoa token there. That's my favorite one. All right.
Is that your favorite David Ochoa or your favorite token?
My. You stumped me. I don't know.
Ooh, Agent of Fates, and that's going to be pretty good here. Actually, it's not going to be that good because the horse actually works pretty well against the agent.
Now, is the agent a human?
Let me check. That's a good question.
You know, there's 2 agents. There's an agent of Horizons and there's an agent of Fates, and it is a human assassin. So, yeah, that thing's going to actually just start beating down at some point. Oh, never mind. Shuhei found blue mana. There's a Vaporkin that can actually just get in the way.
And let's see. I mean, if Timothy probably still wants to target this Agent of Fates, even if...
Take 1 damage.
Ooh, wow, that's a good one, too. Timothy's deck seems very strong.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. His pieces need to come together correctly here. I mean, individual card strength varies quite a bit on his side of the table. All right, and here's a Daxos.
Yeah, Daxos does not do too well against an Akron horse, but...
I never thought of that when we were watching the deck build, that the that Shuhei's Akron horse actually kind of works poorly against his own Daxos. But he does have 2 Aqueous forms in his deck, so he can make short work of that, potentially. Wow, and Timothy just continues to run out the goods. In this case... That Tapper also can keep Daxus down. Vaporkin as well. Not a particularly strong card, but it does have its uses.
And it's looking pretty rough right now for Shuhei.
It really is. He needs to draw more islands.
Yeah, I mean, we should tell him that.
That should be part of his game plan going forward.
I mean, this game would have been completely different had he actually been able to... stick an early Daxos. He would have started to be able to attack with it almost right away.
Yeah.
Because he's had a Battle-Wise Valor in his hand since the opening of the game, I believe. And
is he going to go for an Eidolon here?
I believe so. It's strange, though. He's going to need to put it on Daxos. So he's just going to send it in there.
And I think he's going to hope his opponent doesn't... Yeah, he figured it out. Still, gain 3 life. Help stem the bleeding here. Got almost the whole Channel Fire team there on his side now.
Yep.
You see,
if he finds an Aqueous form, it's actually pretty good here.
Yeah, because he's going to gain life from lifelink and then gain life if he flips a spell as well.
Yep. You can also start casting those spells, and it won't really matter that he's flooded with all the white mana because Daxos ignores colors.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Timothy's surveying the scene here. He's in the driver's seat currently, but there's some interesting interactions here. Shuhei Nakamura's own Akroan horse, which has been shipped over to Timothy, is now blocking Shuhei's Daxos. And at the same time, that isn't really much of a big combo like it normally would be against a deck like Shuhei's because of that Akroan horse. Agent of Fates makes the opponent sacrifice a creature whenever it becomes targeted by a spell from its owner, but when he's got a whole bunch of 1/1s on the ground, it's less good. All right, so Shuhei's going to take a bunch of damage here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't see what that top card is. Oh, geez, and then another Cavalry Pegasus replaces the first one. So Shuhei falling behind here, but digging and digging. What did he draw? Another Daxos? Was it a Battle-Wise Hoplite? What was that?
I think it was just a Battle-Wise Hoplite.
Okay.
Pretty dead. And it's looking like Timothy's definitely going to take this one down.
Yeah, I think Shuhei has 2 Battle-Wise Hoplite.
And a Battle-Wise Valor. He has a Battle-Wise hand, but...
So can he... Yeah, so he says go to attacks, but the tapper can tap down Daxos, and that...
Yeah, so he's going to need to respond
right?
with the Battle-Wise Valor. That's going to make this Daxos into a 5/5.
And therefore...
And counter the ability.
Untargetable, yeah, okay.
And then he's going to get to attack with it.
All right, so he's not going to take 12 next turn, is he?
3... How much damage is it?
Oh, 3,
4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it could be. A lot of this is on the ground, though.
10. That's meant 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he going to get to connect with Daxos here? No, because the tapper's still just going to keep it sort of locked down.
Prevent that from ever happening. Ooh, and at 2, that Scholar is just going to be too much, probably.
Yeah, Scholar of Athreos is the game ender there, even if the attackers weren't enough. And Timothy Thomason.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's like, dude, I just beat a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That is no small feat right there. Yep, and he is going to improve to 12-2 and potentially knock Shuhei Nakamura out of top 8 contention. Not for sure, but put a big crimp in the plans there for Shuhei.
Yeah, I mean, Shuhei might be able to top 8 at X3. He did have 3 buys. He started off with a strong record.
Mm-hmm.
But...
So, William Lowry up 17 games to 0 so far in this match, and we'll get that changed. But it does look, though, like one board is significantly more developed than the other here. I wonder how much damage that Fanatic of Mogus did there.
Got it, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know at this point. There's a Triad of Fates. That's a card that has been really, really good for,
we've actually seen some really...
For William Lowry.
Yeah.
William Lowry, last time we tuned into one of his games, was comboing a Triad of Fates with an Ashen Rider.
You know, and we also saw Willie Adel use a Triad of Fates really, really well for himself, too. That's a Farika's Cure on the Fanatic of Mogus.
Yeah. Seems like this Minotaur has this problem called life, and William wants to cure it.
He wants to end that problem.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh.
And it looks like he has some sandals there.
The Fleet Feather variety?
Yeah. It's generally considered taboo in the world of Theros to wear them with socks.
I'm from Seattle. People do that all the time. Not in Theros, though. All right, that's a spear point Oriad. And there's some life totals. Chris Brummet's at 8, and he is facing an all-out attack. Timothy Thomason, I believe, is up 1-0. And he's lining up some blocks here as Chris. Staring at that blood toll harpy in his hand too, which is perhaps a bit miserable here.
Is that a gift of immortality on the Phalanx Leader?
It does look like that.
It's a pretty nice combo on the Phalanx Leader because you get to keep blocking with it, and every time it comes back, it anthems your team up.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh, I'm not sure why it's
Though you would need a team to make that work, and you would also not need to be not taking potentially lethal hit here from the undefeated William Lowry.
That's the match.
I believe he's scooping him up here.
So it looks like William Lowry is moving on now to 14-0.
There's some math being done, though.
It looks like he took 8 to me.
They might just be discussing. Yeah, it looks like this one's over.
Okay.
All right, so like you said it, Jake, William Lowry moving to 14-0.